Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for Storytime with Moonie, where I read short stories every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for littles in every community. You can follow me on Instagram at Moonie the Space Kitty or Moonie the Space Kitty SFW, as well as Storytime with Moonie. The only difference between the profiles are the tags that I use. Through the profiles, you'll have access to the items that I sell in my little shop. I just wanted to let you know that I am still updating new items onto my little shop. I will have everything up and running in a few weeks. I do thank you all for your patience. I am a full-time caregiver for my mother, so things have been a little hectic, but I am so happy and so grateful that you support me and you are very patient with me. Now, grab your stuffy and get real comfy. Today's story is The Ant and the Grasshopper. Grasshopper loved the summer. He would spend all day perched on a blade of grass, basking under the sun. Just occasionally, Grasshopper would hop from one blade to another, but most of the time he was happy doing absolutely nothing. Grasshopper idly rubbed his legs together, making a happy chirping sound. Long summer days lazing in the lush grass, he thought to himself with a smile. Oh, can there be anything better? Grasshopper was just about to doze off when there was an annoying, heaving and panting sound right beneath him. It was an ant pushing a piece of corn across the ground. No wonder he was panting, because the corn was twice as big as he was, and the nearest cornfield was a good distance away. What a silly thing to do on a hot sunny day like this, Grasshopper laughed. Just look at you, all worn out. It has to be done, said the ant, wiping his brow. I have to take the corn to my nest. No, you don't, said Grasshopper. You could just eat it here, rather than drag it all the way. Come on, we'll have a picnic. Ant wiped his brow again. He would have loved to stop for a picnic, but there was far too much work to be done. You don't understand, he told the Grasshopper. This corn isn't to eat now. It's to store in my nest, he explained. Grasshopper laughed so much that he nearly fell off his blade of grass. But that means you're going backward and forward, heaving heavy loads. From dawn to dusk, he mocked. In all this heat? I know, said Ant, but it has to be done. I have to have plenty of food for the winter. Nothing grows then. It's not like it is now, where there's food wherever you look. Grasshopper lazily glanced around. It was true. There was food wherever you looked. Lush grasses, golden fields of corn, delicious little fruits and berries. And it was also true that by winter, it would have all disappeared. But that did not mean he was going to scurry frantically about like Ant, puffing and panting on a hot sunny day. Winter's ages away, said Grasshopper. Enjoy the lovely summer with me. Crawl up here, and let's have that picnic. However, Ant was already crawling away, lifting the ear of corn again, heaving it across the ground. Crazy, Grasshopper called after him. We ants like to think ahead, Ant panted in reply, not for a moment pausing in his heavy task. Summer won't last forever. Grasshopper jeeringly shook his head, reclining on his lush blade of grass. As he looked up at the perfect blue sky, he wondered how anyone could possibly think about winter on a day like this. It seemed to Grasshopper that summer would surely go on forever. The summer lasted for weeks and weeks, months and months, but it did not go on forever. Eventually, the long, cloudless days became a little shorter. The sun was not quite so hot now, and the flowers were starting to fade. Autumn arrived. I had better stock up on food, Grasshopper said to himself, climbing down from the blade of grass with a shiver. He was sure there would be a little bit left before the frost and snow arrived. Where can I find some food? He asked a little mouse who was peeping out from the leaves. There's nothing growing, replied the mouse. You're too late. Even the fruit that fell from the trees has all been carried away by the other animals. Grasshopper was distraught. He felt so very hungry. How am I going to manage? He asked the mouse sadly. He knew that when the winter came, he would be starving. Then he suddenly had an idea. He would visit Ant. With all that corn he had been storing up right through summer, Ant would surely have a little to spare to give a hungry friend. By the time winter set in, the hunger and biting cold made Grasshopper weaker and weaker. It took him a long time to reach Ant's nest. Ant, are you there? He called faintly. It's your friend, Grasshopper. I've got no food. Could you spare a little of yours? Ant took a good while to emerge from his nest. In fact, Grasshopper wondered whether he would appear at all. He remembered how unkind he had been to Ant in the summer. Finally, though, Ant did emerge, and he was carrying lots of food. Grasshopper gobbled it all up gratefully. I'm sorry I laughed at you for collecting all that corn, he said. Next summer, I'll follow your example and think ahead. Ant smiled, pleased that Grasshopper had learned his lesson. The end. Thank you so much for letting me read to you tonight. I hope you feel safe, and I hope you feel loved. Good night, little ones.